Hey y'all, welcome back to Unwind with DNT. I'm Devo,
I'm Tommy.
and this week we'll be discussing all things intentional friendships, what friendship means to you. We're gonna get right down to it, okay? But first of all, you guys, we have decided to start a new segment. It's gonna be called Unwind. We need to come up with a more fun name, I know, but we thought unwind on like a topic of the week, maybe something you thought was interesting that you wanted to discuss. By wanted, I mean me and my co-host Tommy, of course. So this week is our very first segment of Unwind. So Unwind of the week. We'll call it Unwind of the week.
Yay!
Comment down below what is a good name to call this new segment because we're just saying Unwind of the week. But anyway, do you want to start us off? Is there anything you want to unwind this week? Any thoughts, feelings that you kind of
Yes.
made a realization? Any shows you're watching that you're like, ooh, I wonder if anyone has the same thoughts and opinions as I do.
Yeah. So currently I'm watching That's a Raven. If you know, I'm a Disney fan at heart. I honestly watching it back, there's something I'm like, can't believe they let that air. But when I was like 12, I was laughing. But now I'm like, it's not that funny. But yeah, like That's a Raven. She's my girl. I love her. And it's so funny we're talking about friendship because their friendship is kind of unique with like Chelsea, Raven, and then Eddie. Because you never hear like a boy part of, I know I did quotation because he is a boy. You never hear a boy part of a trio with two girls, which I find really unique to see. But yeah, what about you?
That's a really good one. I think mine's a little bit deeper. If y'all watch Keeping Up with the Kardashians, I guess it's called
Not deeper.
The Kardashians. Sorry?
I said not deeper, not you coming from my
Uh,
show.
sorry.
That's So Raven is a
No, it's
good
cute.
show.
No, but I think my unwind of the week takes such a more like in depth, different, I guess,
Yeah.
outlook. Yours is very like, but we're not gonna get too much into it. But anyway, it was really interesting. I didn't watch the whole scene, but the little clip was going around online, and it was Travis and Courtney's engagement. Her kids were not present because
hmm
Chris thought this would be best. And I'm not in that
hmm
situation. I don't know anyone who's ever been. My family background is of me, myself, me myself, me, my brother, and parents. So I'm not. I don't know how that would go. Someone would go about that. So I
hmm
really thought about this so long, and I'm like, is it better to have her kids there for her engagement, or would it be better for her to tell them after the fact? But then they're so young. But then if you told them, then they would tell Scott. But then you like, well, Scott's a big guy; he should be able to handle it.
hmm
I feel like her kids should have been there. I think they should have just told Scott and be like, okay, you know what? She's gonna get proposed to. Have your kids be there. Obviously, Scott shouldn't have to be there, but just be like,
hmm
Scott, get the kids to the house so they can experience, such a big moment. Because Penelope's reaction was she was not very thrilled, and I'm sure they're good now,
Yeah.
but it was just that great debate. Like, do you think the kids should have been included, when they got engaged, or do you think she should have told them in person? Because then she ended up calling them on FaceTime to tell them that she got engaged.
Yeah.
Like, how do you go about that?
I think it's kind of hard. I don't think they're young. I think they're
Mm-hmm.
capable of being there. I think that she should have let them go because Travis' kids were there, and if they're going to
Mm-hmm.
be a family, the kids are going to have to, intertwine and engage with each other. So I think that was a bad call on Chris. No offense. I love you, Chris,
Mm-hmm.
but that was really a
Yeah.
bad call on that. But yeah, but I don't think she should have called. And like, what worst comes to worst, what's his name? Scott's gonna find out anyway. Like, he's not like he's
Yeah.
gonna find
I
out
think they
anyway.
should
Like,
have.
no matter
Mm-hmm.
if the kids tell him, or like if Courtney tells him, right? So I feel like that's an excuse. I find.
No, I was gonna say that you tell Scott that the kids should be there for the engagement. Like you tell Scott, oh, Travis is about to propose, but don't tell your kids and let them be there, so they don't spoil the surprise to their
Mm-hmm.
mom. I think that's what they should
Mm-hmm.
have done. And obviously, I don't think Scott would want to be there for his ex's engagement. That's a little weird. But again, they're super
Yeah.
close, so maybe. But I think they should have. I think Chris should have told Scott, this is what's going down. Drop the kids off at my place, because it'd be weird for them to just take the kids and not tell Scott why they're leaving, you know?
Yeah, yeah,
So,
that's
anyways,
true.
but I'm glad. Speaking of which, they did get married, actually. I saw on social
I know
media.
I saw
So,
on
good for
social
them.
media. That's very interesting. No family members, but
Yeah.
who am I to judge? You do you.
She did have her grandmother there, so, and
Yeah,
I don't
that's
know if that's
cute.
her yeah, I think that's her grandpa. I'm not sure.
I think that's
But maybe that's
Travis'
Travis's.
dad.
Oh, is it? Oh,
Mm-hmm.
Travis's
Maybe,
dad? Oh,
yeah, maybe it's setting up the grandparents now. What's next?
well, you know what? Good for them, and I wish them
Mm-hmm.
all the best. So,
Absolutely.
so tell me, what does intentional friendship mean to you?
That's a great question. It's funny that you asked. 'Cause I actually had a hard time thinking about this question. I knew this question was coming up, but I think to me, it's being, putting the effort and making time for that one person. I know for me personally, I've had this goal of mine to have intentional friendships since
Mm,
2022 started. I'm not gonna lie, like it's been hard because being an introverted person is very hard to leave where you're comfortable to hang out with your friends on that like regular basis. I'm not saying I don't like having my friends. I love my friends to death, but I think for me it's more of making that effort to make the plans and then fulfill the plans. Because if you're like me, you like plans being made, but when they come established, when the day comes, you don't want to go. Like you just want to stay home. And I
mm.
feel like that is not really being intentional about your friendship. That's like kind of being one way and not really putting that effort into the friendship. What do you think?
No, I think that's a valid point. I think we often overlook friendships a little less than relationships, because in a relationship you make so much effort and date
Mhm.
nights and people really go in, as they should. But with
Mhm.
friendships, some people I think let it lag a little bit. Um, like I'm a phone call person, as you know. Like I one thing I really am able to know who my friends are is how long I can talk to you. You know, if I
That's
can
true.
talk to you on the phone for at least 2 hours, I
Mhm.
know that like you are like we're good friends. It's just how it is. If I can just talk to you and it's like, wow, it's been that long. You
Mhm.
know, communication is a big thing for me. I don't have to talk to you
Yeah.
every day. It's funny because most of my friends are like don't live beside me. You know, I've got one friend 2 hours away. You live 7 hours drive away. Everyone is everywhere. I got one in BC. You know, everyone. You know, but I still manage to keep those relationships. My one friend and I, who's 2 hours away, we make like a weekly Sunday night calls, and if it doesn't work out, which sometimes our lives get busy, we'll
Yeah.
catch up on Monday or Tuesday. But that constant communication is so important to me. Don't just like, I'm a big reaching out person too, and so are you. So it really annoys me
Yeah.
when I make the effort to reach out to somebody, maybe not even someone, a friend I haven't spoken to in a long time, and they don't
Yeah.
make that same effort. And it's almost like a drag just to respond to a how are you text, you know? Like if I
Yeah.
haven't heard from you in a bit, I'm gonna reach out and be like, hey, you know, you told me you were doing this. How did it go? You know, and you, especially
Mhm.
out there, are really big on like remembering big events and wishing someone good luck, which is so really like sweet and nice.
Mhm.
So yeah, just being present in communication, I think is so important.
Yeah, to go off that, I also think that it's important to be real and vulnerable. Jesus, English is
That's
hard.
a good one.
But in terms of that is that some people can be fake, and
Mm,
it's really hard to share things with people that are fake. Like if I had a friend, like I like to share to an extent. So if I if I'm sharing something with you, that means I trust you and like I'm ready to share that with you. I really don't get real. I don't get wrong. I I get real in terms of like be straight up and honest with you, but you don't really see that soft side of me in terms of like my emotions if you're not really close to me. Like I don't really speak about my feelings. I feel like feelings are very mushy and soft and like ooh, like all that emotions and stuff. So I don't really like talking about that. But if I'm able to do that with you, then that means that um we're building that friendship that we're all like we're building that friendship that we're all to bring on, if that makes sense. Like it's going somewhere. That's trying what I'm trying to say.
And looking back, or I shouldn't say it currently, what would you say is probably your best attribute that you contribute to your friends? Like, if your friends were to say, "Oh my God, this is her best quality," what would you think they would say? Like, with regards that you
Good
bring to the friendship.
question. I would say I bring. Hmm, I'm lost at words because I didn't expect that question. But I think I would say I bring honesty and like a safe
Mm,
space to talk about things because like I think it's very important to have that in a friendship. Bring having that safe space to digest whatever you're going through. I know for me and you, I think I kind of like to I like to go on a rant sometimes, especially about like work and stuff. So I think that having, if I'm able to create that safe space for me, I believe that you're able to create that safe space for me. Going off that, like, I'm able to be real with you. If I'm not able to do that, then I think we may have to reevaluate our friendship a bit. Not ours, but like other people's in general.
no, definitely. No,
Yeah.
I agree. Um, with mine, I would say I would hope like a good listener because I'm like always kind of like that mother bear in a sense of
Mm-hmm.
like being that friend that listens and listens and listens, which I don't mind being. But I've noticed that's kind of like the subconscious, or I don't know if it's subconscious is the right term, but the maybe unconscious. I don't. Child, all you grandma people don't come for me, honey. But you know what I mean, like that unknowing like role that I've taken of
Yeah.
being that listener in a friend group. Like any dilemmas, like hit me up, and I think that's probably one of my
Mm-hmm.
best attributes is being a good listener. But let's skirt a little bit. What like what are some things you've noticed maybe in past friendships that didn't work out that like I don't want to call it pet peeves per se, but things that some ex friends used to do that just was like a turn off in friendships that just made you reevaluate why am I friends with this person.
Being self-centered. I
Mm,
think that being self-centered in the meaning that you just want to do whatever you can to gain yourself. Um, like I find it very like kind of weird that you're willing to do that just because um, what are friends for? If you're not able to lean on them, then you might as well just be by yourself and hang out by yourself, you know? I also feel like if you're trying to do something for your own gain, and be like, oh yeah, I have friends, but then you're not really being that friend that you really want to be, then I'm sorry, that's a huge turn off for me. I think another thing for me is trust. I have a huge thing about trust, meaning that if I tell you a secret today, I don't want to hear it on national TV the next day. Like, I don't want to be like, oh, this is going on Snapchat. Like, I don't want to see that. I don't want to hear that. Like, I just feel like that's kind of disrespectful to me as a person, but also you're also making yourself look like you're not a trustworthy person. And if you're not able to be trustworthy in a friendship, how are you supposed to be trustworthy in a relationship, like a romantic relationship? Like, it adds up, you know? But yeah, what about you?
that's a good one. Going off of your self centered point,
Mm-hmm.
I think my thing is someone who acts like a person is disposable. You know, they hit you up when they need you, and then when they don't need you anymore, you're just kind of someone else. You know,
Yep.
just any other person. It's like, hey girl, how are you doing? You know, you hang out and that's it. And then next month they'll come over. It's like trying. I find that the people who do it the most are those who try to fit in so bad with maybe a particular group or a particular set of people
Mm-hmm.
that when they have good people around, they don't know that it's hitting them right in the face. Like there's good people right in front of you, but you're not taking that opportunity because you're so busy with trying to be with the in crowd. But then it's like jokes on you. The in crowd doesn't want you. So
Yeah.
you're, I hate to say the pass around, but that person becomes a pass around, but then treats other people like they're disposable. It's like this revolving cycle that just continues.
Yeah.
My other big turnoff would have to be like one uppers. Oh, I just hate one uppers. Like, you know, oh, I have this dress and it, no, girl, I got that last week. I bought this, this, and that. Like, you don't got to be extra. Like, if someone has this, let's say the new MacBook or something. You got to one up them and say, no, you got the MacBook Pro. Like, it's not, I think friendships should never be a competition. You should always one up your, sorry, not one up, big up, I should say. Is that the little Jamaican slang? Big up your boy. I'm Jamaican, y'all. But I'm just kidding. I'm not. I'm trying to pick up a little slang, okay? But you should always like promote your friend and support them. There should never be some sort of like jealousy of like, oh, why does she get that opportunity and I don't? It should, I don't know. There
Mm-hmm.
shouldn't be a envy, with friends. Yes, we're
I
human. You
agree.
probably will experience jealousy, but it should never be to the extent of trying to like be somebody that you're not, or trying to one up your friend because you're jealous of like what they're doing or where they're at. So that's my thing. One thing I would say is I find that support in different friendships, like support for people, looks different depending on the person. Would you say the same?
Yeah, I agree. I think that support looks different, right? Like some people support from a distance and some people support up front, right? They're there right up front cheering you on. But there's some people that just support you from the sidelines, which is also that's me I'm kind of
Mm,
learning and kind of understanding that not all your friends will be there um cheering you on the sidelines, right? And that's okay. Like that they may be showing you love a different way that you may not see, right? Because everyone has different love languages, right? So they may be showing you love the way that they want to receive the love, right? So I think that's something that I kind of have to digest and kind of understand myself, if that makes sense. But basing off those questions, do you think that people get comfortable in friendship, meaning that they get lazy? Like, for example, you've had a friend for over 15 years or 10 years, however long. Do you think that sometimes that the longer that you've been friends, you're just like, whatever, like, we're always gonna be friends. Like, I don't have to put that effort into making that friendship.
no, I agree. I think people definitely get comfortable, but I feel like in this day and age, we're not really spending time with our friends. We're more of like spending time with
Yeah.
friends when it becomes a hangout. Like, oh, this one's having a party, girl. You come in, and then we hang out, and that's it. There's no real concrete
Mm-hmm.
relationship. This is not to say people don't have deep friendships or whatever. I'm just saying what I've noticed with, I guess, maybe our age cohort is that like a lot of like
Mm-hmm.
people are friends with everybody, but their actual friends are probably like two, three, four. If you really were to like count down their like real friends. Um,
Yeah.
Longer friendships, I think, yeah, you do tend to take advantage a little bit and be like, I've known you for a while. I'm sure you'll be good. So we need to get back to the
Mm-hmm.
whole, like, how are you, like, literally, not just texting, how are you, but actually calling people up and finding out how they've been. And I do that with my long term friends all the time, especially, like,
Mm-hmm.
once I met in university. If it's been a
Mm-hmm.
couple months, I literally will call you up and just like, hey, how is it going? I will literally just talk and talk and talk. And I
Yeah.
love getting to catch up with people. Yeah, but I feel like nowadays friendships are just mostly let's hang out, let's,
Yeah.
kiki. That's it. There's no
Mm-hmm.
real bonds, no,
Mm-hmm.
without all that, can I sit with you and just talk and just be myself? That's really what it's all about.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think that something I also like realize is that let's take a look in the media with like, for example, Jordan and Kylie. They were friends for
Mm.
so long, and that ended due to a situation that happened with Kylie's sister. Do you think that it was right for Kylie to end that friendship based on what happened with Chloe? Because I feel like yeah, it was wrong, but at the same time, do you think it was necessary to go just to cut her off and just continue um hee hee ha ha with our other friends and then making Stasia, I don't know her name, but
Sassy
her
baby.
yeah, her to make her number one because um Jordan was her number one for a while. So I just found that very odd that she was so quickly to replace Jordan that quick. I'm not saying that her and Stas baby, whatever she goes by, weren't friends, but I think that it was just to me just look at it was like, oh, this happened to my family. Oh, gotta cut her off. Oh, here's another person in front of me. Let me just build that friendship as we go. What do you think about that?
That's a good point. I feel like her and like Stas and Kylie have always been friends. I feel like it feels like they're replaced only maybe because Jordan left. That's a tricky one. I
Mm,
think, to be honest with you, Kylie did what she had to do as a family, right? Chloe is her family, and people make the argument that, well, I don't support what Tristan does. Just want to FYI, like someone repeatedly does that, she should have left him ages ago. We're not going to get
yeah.
into that part today, but I think Kylie was more going off of loyalty. Like, this is my sister. It could not be
Mm,
this. It would just be weird. Like, if you have Jordan at every
yeah.
family event and Tristan's there, it would just be odd for
That'd be
everybody.
awkward.
Do I think she should have cut
Mm-hmm.
her that? Maybe not, but maybe slowly, like, not be close friends. It's so hard to navigate. But I feel like the interesting thing that you brought up is Jordan's younger sister is friends with
Mm-hmm.
now Courtney's stepdaughter. So I wonder how that dynamic is going to be because
That's
Courtney's
interesting.
stepdaughter,
Mm-hmm.
Alabama, right? Yeah, she's friends with Kylie's younger sister. So obviously she hangs out with Jordan as well. So that's a tricky one. I think what Kylie did was right. Right, you try to stand by your sister and be loyal. It would be awkward for everybody. And people say, well, why don't you cut off Tristan? Unfortunately, you can't get rid of him. That's your kid's
Yeah,
dad forever. Maybe you can limit his interaction with the
unfortunately.
family, but that's her own
Mm-hmm.
decision how she wants to go about that. If that were me, you don't
Yeah,
want to know what I would do. So I'm not them. So
that's
we'll just leave it where it's at.
that's fair. I think for me, like, yeah, like I don't. It's a shame what happened with Tristan and Jordan and like Kylie and
Mhm.
everything, Chloe as well. But I think it's hard to like it's hard to be in their shoes and like I think a lot of people use social media and like people in the celebrity in the oh my gosh, it was just hard for me guys. I apologize. Celebrities in the out in the world as examples of how to make a friendship. And I don't think that's a good example. I'm not saying they're great people, but I just feel like there's some things that I've seen in the media that aren't just great in terms of like if I'm basing my friendship or our friendship on Kylie and Jordan and like I just or someone else in the future or someone else in the media, then I don't think that's a great plan or outline for a great friendship. I'm not saying Kylie and Jordan didn't have a great friendship. They sure did, but I just think we shouldn't use that as our example for friendship.
Mm, like you should develop your own definitions of what you want to see and make your own, I guess, your own friendship, not based on this one does this, so I must follow suit type of business.
Yeah. And actually looked up social media people that have friends, and I have some examples. So Jimmy Fallon and Justin Bieber became friends in 2002 just because of I guess the Fallon show. They
That's such
they
an odd combination, though.
yeah, like I didn't see that coming. I was surprised. I was like Justin Timberlake, but they've been friends since 2002. They've
Oh,
been
sorry,
friends
Justin
for
Timberlake.
yeah, Justin Timberlake girl.
Oh, that makes sense. I thought you said Justin Bieber. No, yeah, those ones have
Oh,
been friends for a while. Yeah, I'm like Justin
so
Bieber and Jimmy Fallon. What are they going to be doing?
but and then another was Jada Pickett Smith and Queen Latifah. They
Oh, yeah.
started being friends just based on the two films they um, filmed together, right? Set off and Girls Trip. I find it funny how like those are those are the two I picked out because there's ton. There's Spider Man and his girlfriend Zendaya. They're apparently were really close friends before they started dating.
Mm,
Tom Holland for you guys come get me because I don't know Marvel.
get it
I know
right.
his
That's his
name. I
name.
know his name. I just don't engage myself in Marvel. But yeah, so I
Oh,
find it.
pause.
Ugh,
You guys, please forgive Tommy because she knows no better. God, please
what?
forgive her because
What did I
she's,
do?
you don't screw with Marvel.
Girl, Justin Trudeau knows I don't read Marvel. Donald Trump knows I don't know.
Justin Trudeau
read
himself
Marvel.
watches Marvel. We need. I'm, I.
Oh,
I don't know if we can continue this friendship. Speaking of friendships, you know
girl,
what?
we
We gotta
talked
work
about
on you.
this. See, we had honest conversation about Marvel. She already knows my take on
We
Marvel.
gonna pray for you. I'm gonna sit you down, and you're just gonna just watch the Spider Man, especially with Tom. They're so good. But you know what? That's a different day. Y'all
A
like
different.
Just put her in your purse for the week, okay? Like, so she can see the light. But we'll be praying for you. But go ahead.
Thanks. But yeah, saying like I think it's great to have those people in media with friendship. I don't think we should like fall back. Like, yeah, I want my friendship to be like Jimmy Fallon, Justin Timberlake. Like, I think that's just like you're low key setting yourself for failure because you're not having your own boundaries. You're not having your own foundation. You're just going off of what you see in media, which honestly, it may work for some people. For personally, for me, it has not worked, and I don't plan to go through my friendships the way that I see it on TV, social media, and everything else.
That's fair. Like, looking back at, like, maybe some friendships that didn't work out, what would you say is, like, let's get a little messy, but without making me mention names, what is, like, reasons why you stopped being friends with somebody? I'll go first. So I used to be friends with this one girl, and like, I don't even know if I should say the time of. I won't even say the period of time because it's a small
Spill
world, and
the
you never know who's
tea.
listening.
Spill the tea.
But
We want to
anyway,
know the tea.
I used to be friends with this person, like a group, and then slowly would hear from other members of the group that this person
Mm-hmm.
would start talking about me. So they were basically a fake friend. Their vibes did
Mm-hmm.
not match what was being said. So after hearing all that and confronting it, I was like, you're not somebody that I want to be friends with, and I just kind of not kind of I cut all ties. And then this alleged person reached out. I shouldn't say alleged because it happened. It's not like I'm alleging that
Mm-hmm.
you said stuff, but this person reached out to me and was like, hey, I understand if you don't want to talk to me, but like, how are you? Blah blah blah. Whatnot. And I just did the good old red, left you on red. I feel like silence is the best medicine,
Yeah.
especially when you can
Yeah.
see that the person read your message. So,
Mm-hmm.
looking back, I would have to say, like finding out that someone is not a good friend. So, i.e., talking behind your back. And I would say growing apart, which is not always a bad thing. You can end friendships
Mm-hmm.
and still be on good terms, but come to a realization that, this person is just not for me because I'm at a different stage in my life and they're heading a different direction. And I respect that, but you're just not the person for me at this stage of like my life.
Yeah, and that's fair. Going off for that for me, I think, wow, that's a really good question. I have a lot of answers, but my first answer I have to say is, like I said, being self-centered. I feel if you're just gonna if you want to be friends with someone and you're just like, oh, me, that's a problem for me. And I feel like I've actually had a situation that I actually had to stop talking to this individual because it was just about her. Like she didn't really
Mm,
um want to help in the situation, but which was very hurtful for me because I was in a really bad situation. I needed this person's help, and they just gave me some rubbish answer. And I actually did. We did have a discussion about it. I will never forget what she said to me. She had, I mean, not to say the audacity, but come on, the audacity.
not the audacity, honey.
the, the audacity um, to say that, oh, I feel like you didn't really like me. And to me, that actually hurt because, like, I'm not the kind of person to spend time with someone I don't like. If I don't like you,
Mm,
I won't be spending like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday with you. Like, I won't be like coming to your place, hanging out, or even letting you like use some of my stuff, right? So I just found that was a kind of excuse on her part. And she, when like it was the time for her, like I was always there for her. I always like be there for her. So it was kind of felt like an excuse. Another for me would be probably not figuring out arguments together. I feel like adding people into conversations or adding people into things that we're going through is not the way to have an intentional friendship. Because I feel like at the end of the day, if we have an intentional friendship, might as well just have the whole world part of our friendship, not just us two, right? Well, we're not really working to
mhm.
build something. We're wanting to build it with the whole world. So that's just my two there. Like, yeah, that's not for the love of God.
That's a valid thing. I feel like you should be able to resolve arguments without bringing third parties. Like, are we
Yeah,
fine that you can't
yeah,
resolve an issue amongst the two of you?
yeah.
Um, oh, I just lost my train of thought. I had oh, speaking of arguments. let me give you a scenario. So your best friend, your close friend, is kind
Mm-hmm.
of has a beef with someone else.
Mm-hmm.
How do you proceed with the said person she or he has a beef with? I've I've been in situations where my friends maybe quote unquote might not like somebody, but I try to just mind my business and I'll still be cool with that other person. I'm not gonna call
Absolutely.
that other person up and like hang out with you. But if I see you in the hall,
Absolutely.
I guess I say hall because like we literally graduated 2 years ago. If I see you in university or in a party or a mutual friend's
Mm-hmm.
place, I'll still like speak
Mm-hmm.
sweet and like keep it pushing. But I'm not
Mm-hmm.
one to like jump in because my friend doesn't like you, so I don't like you. If I don't have a legitimate reason not to like you, I'm
Yeah.
cool. And I would hope that my friend, some friends I feel like they're super possessive. Like, I'm not talking to her, so why are you associating? Like,
Mm-hmm.
how dare you be disloyal? Like, what do you say to that?
Mm-hmm. I think it's a bit childish when you add people to that. Like you said, if like I don't like one of your friends, I'm not gonna be like, yo, stop talking to her because I don't like her. Like, I think we're all adults and we should be able to dislike people and like people too, right? If you guys are hanging out, I'm not gonna be there because I don't like the person, but I'm not gonna be like, oh yeah, let's all three of us hang out and like, let's go do something fun. Like, no, like I'm just gonna stay home, do me and you guys go have fun. Also, I feel like with that, I feel like people tend to like, oh, like, what do you guys do? Like, try to be nosy about what you guys did
Mm,
and that, but I don't think that's really your place to do that. I feel like you should just mind your own business, drink your water, and hang out with your own friends. Like, I don't think there's anything bad with them. I've actually been in a trio when arguments have happened. It's not pretty, and I think that in that sense, it creates a divide, and it's hard for you to kind of pick sides. But I think what I didn't pick a side. I still hung out with each of them on separate occasions and tried to get them to talk if they wanted to talk, have a grown adult conversation, not when you're yelling at each other because yet again we're not five, right? You should be able to have intellectual conversations without acting like we're on a playground. So yeah, that's my kind of take on that.
I think my also thing is like when two people have an argument, and let's say you're closer to one, the person who sides with someone tends to look crazy when those two
Hmm.
people that were fighting become friends. Because then you're like in the middle going, oh, you sided
Yeah.
with one person to hate on someone else, and then they're cool. Now where are you? Then you like
Yeah.
crawl back and go, girl, how are you? But you never
Yeah.
really had an issue. That's why I think the biggest pitfall is when you side with a friend and just be your own person because then you can look crazy when they settle their
Hmm.
beef or whatnot or whatever they had going on. And then
Hmm.
you're left looking, because you started nothing for nothing. But with
Yeah.
that being said, I feel like with my friends, when they have like disagreements with people, I will defend you in public. But privately, I'll tell you, like, girl, you were tripping. Like, you need to relax. But I would
Yeah.
never, ever say that in front of, like,
The
maybe someone
friend.
you dislike,
Yeah.
yeah, or like that you're arguing with. I feel like you should defend your friend, obviously, but when they're in the wrong, you should be also be able to say, "Girl, I think you were over exaggerating just a little. Like maybe you should have handled that, a
Yeah.
little different." What's friendship without honesty?
Exactly. Yeah, I really like that point. I think that's very important in terms of like honesty, like you said. I feel like a friendship is not built on on trust, honesty. It's gonna be like a rocky building because I think of friendship as a building, right? So like you have your
Mm,
foundation, you have the soil, you have everything to build that building. If the soil, I know nothing about buildings, but don't quote me on this. If the soil is not like laid out perfectly, or it's not settled perfectly, then it's not obviously you're not gonna be able to build really well. So I feel like in order to build a really good friendship, you have to figure out how to build a great foundation. Like, with plants, for example, like you gotta water it, right? So like you gotta water your friendships. Like you gotta like pour love into it. You gotta show respect, because like if you're not showing respect, how you gonna gain that respect from someone else, right? So I think as you continue to grow your friendship, make sure you're watering it. If it's buying Starbucks to them one day after school, because they're obsessed with Starbucks
mm,
these days, but Or
I hope you're not looking at me or pointing at me. You better
I
stop
know, girl,
it.
I'm just looking at the screen, we're having a conversation.
You're you're a regular at Starbucks, so don't even come for me, okay? The last time I went to Starbucks was last month, or maybe two
Last
weeks
month
ago.
or last week.
Not last, a week.
Okay.
I don't go by myself only if I'm like hanging out with somebody, you know.
Yeah, but
We're not talking about me and my Starbucks.
but you like watering it. So like, what do you do to take care of your plants? You water it. You provide sunset. You provide sun.
Not
Uh,
sunset, girl. You'd be killing all
sun.
your plants.
You provide some sun, some like light, right? So that's the same thing you do for a friendship. You provide water. By water, I mean pouring love, showing them the love that they want to receive and deserve, respect, being a support system for what they needed, right? And then as well as being able to have that honest conversation. Because if you're not able to have that honest conversation, then you're building that friendship on a rocky foundation.
Okay, I'm gonna veer, of course, just a smidge. Do you think the best relationships start, like romantic relationships, start from, friendship?
That's a great question. I think it depends. Yeah, like I think it really depends. I feel like some friendships can lead into romantic situation and some can. I feel like if you develop friendship first, that's a great foundation for a relationship, meaning that you've been able to get to know the person a bit more. You're able to like know what they likes, what they dislikes, and personally speaking, I think a friendship is great for a relationship. I think it blossoms into something beautiful. I'm not speaking on experience, might be or might not be, but I think that don't roll your eyes at me. I think that it's good to have a friendship before you go into relationships. But yeah,
Yeah, no, I get that. I would say I feel like you don't necessarily need a friendship in order to start a relationship. Some people are like, no, it's good to start as friends. I guess maybe because the people who I'm friends with, I don't see it like ever. If you veer off and maybe pursue something else and it doesn't work out, that friendship is basically like done. So I feel like you can start like a romantic, relationship without really necessarily being friends, but just slowly getting to know each other. And for some people, it works out. But I am team. You don't necessarily need a friendship, and some people will say you absolutely like friendship is like the basis. I feel like you can start off like that and then slowly go opposite and then build a friendship. But just wrapping up here, I'm going to leave you guys with a really intriguing question. Are old friends better than new, or are new friends better than old? Excuse me. I guess we'll just no, we'll just leave it as, are old friends better than new? Like, because if you think about it, at one point in your life, you were the new friend in someone's life, and then you slowly became the old friend.
hmm
So, what do you guys think? Are old friends better than new? What would you say to me? Would you say old friends are the best, or new friends are the best, or both, or
I think both. I feel like old friends are able to um, continue to help you grow as well as new friends, right? Like I don't think there's a competition between the two. You may click better with the new friend, which is totally fine, but
mm.
that doesn't mean you're disregarding the old friendship, right? So yeah.
So we can say both, but y'all comment down below what you think, old friends or team new. But anyway, thank y'all so much for joining us for yet another episode of Unwind with D and T. Please comment what your thoughts are for this episode, what you thought about it. Comment any topics you would want us to discuss as well. We have so many fun things in store
We
that we're
sure
just bursting to
do.
share with you guys. So just stay tuned, honey, because it's only getting better from here. Um, I'm gonna throw it over to my co-host if she has anything else she would like to add.
Yeah, so make sure you follow us on Instagram at Unwind Podcast underscore, as well as on our YouTube. And make sure to follow us on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Have a great day, and I'll see you guys later.
Yes. Oh, and we're on TikTok. Don't
Oh,
forget,
yes, on
y'all.
TikTok.
Yeah, make sure you watch our TikTok because we be. It's funny, okay? Anyway,
All right.
bye.
Bye.